WayofTime here, bringing to you another episode of EEPower. So here we are, back in our lovely little base, and our quarry seems to be going quite well. Now, while it was pretty much setting up, I watched it for a bit, and then went out to get A, some sample ores, and B, some actual ores. What's the difference between sample ores and actual ores? I have no bloody clue. But anyways, here we have quite a bit of our stuff being processed, a lot of iron, a lot of gold. This gold, mainly the copper and definitely the tin, was from my mining expedition. We got all the other stuff that hasn't been sorted down the very frilly and lacy line, but that works out. So we got some bauxite ore as well, which we're going to want to use very shortly. I'm just gonna go put it in the pulverizer so we can get the bauxite dust from it. So I did a bit of calculations on some of the fuel efficiencies to convert fuel into lovely EU, and I found out some, well, kind of good results actually. So let's just bring up the fuel bucket so that we can more easily show what I'm talking about. So as you can see, 6 Minecraft joules per tick in 100,000 ticks in a combustion engine, compared to 384,000 EU at 12 EU per tick in a diesel generator. Now, those may sound like vague, abstract numbers, but I'll try to break it down. So if we count the 5% energy loss, that's pretty much solid to go from conduits to energy cells back out to another another machine, say a magma crucible. That's 5% for each and every time it goes through a conduit. So flat 5%, so 5% here, 5% there. I just noticed something. Our liquids are going a bit short, so it looks like we are going to need to add another aqueous accumulator to the system if we want to have our water going. Anyways, I'll talk while I'm adding that to the system. Anyways, as I was saying, so what that means is that when we want to transfer the Minecraft joules between systems, say to make lava out of it, we have to then further do a bunch of other basically, it's not as fuel efficient as you would think. So if we were to convert it, one bucket, into EU by going through the magma and then to the thermal generator, this is counting the thermal generator, not the other one, that is a total of 433,200 EU from that one single bucket after going through quite an extensive process. If it was through the thermal generator, basically cut 50% from that. That being said, these liquid amounts, sorry, I meant geothermal generator for that. Anyways, these liquid diesel generator thingamabobbers, that is the very technical name. You may need to learn it in the future. These produce it at 12 EU per tick, last quite a bit, and they produce 384,000 EU. Now, if you do the math, that's an 88.6% efficiency compared to the long, arduous process. Yeah, that's quite a bit, and it doesn't seem like we might actually need our aqueous accumulator. So I guess we don't have to worry about it. Eventually, we will need to have another aqueous accumulator down. Maybe we can make that at another time. But anyways, so what that means is if we were to make some sort of fuel-based system, just using these diesel generators will come in handy. Now, there is another thing called the distillation tower right here. It may look relatively easy considering some of the recipes that it actually gives. Some of them are like diesel, which is pretty much the equivalent of fuel, but it converts a 1-to-1 ratio of oil to fuel. Anyway, so we can do that. However, the machine casings that this thing requires is quite exorbitant. it requires, let's see, 9, 18, 18 plus 4, I'm just going to say that. Sorry, I have to do math. 26 regular standard machine casings and 16 highly advanced ones. Quite a bit. I'm not at that stage yet. That being said, we are going to need to work on some other parts, so let's pull out some of our neatness in here and work on a matter fabricator. So the matter fabricator will get us started into EU production. However, it is going to require probably a bit in the way of all of this stuff. So matter fabricator is what we'll want to start striving for now. So this requires chrome ingots. It'll require 8 of them in total, which means we'll need to get chrome dust from it. The only way to get chrome dust, other than being very, very lucky with scrap boxes, is to use an industrial electrolyzer on either uvarovite dust, I'm going to have to find out where to get that, or using ruby dust. Actually, the uvarovite dust might be a good thing to see if we can get to. We can use either yellow garnet, or it might be from some sort of ore. I'm going to have to check that. Yeah, let's just check NEI and see if uvarovite actually comes from anything that we can get right away. Okay, the only way to get uvarovite is by going through a chain that takes sphaerolite ore. I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of that, but anyways, so we take that in an industrial grinder, then we make yellow garnet dust. It'll take 4 to make yellow garnet, and it'll take 16 to make 3 of these, so that's a sack already, and then it'll take 6 stacks pretty much to make chrome dust. 2 pieces of chrome dust. So pretty much 3 stacks of raw ore to get that. That being said, you can get ruby dust. Probably if we get ruby dust, it might be a better method, though that may require redstone, or there's nether ruby ore as well. If we go for a silk touch pickaxe, yeah, if we go for a silk touch pickaxe, that might be what we need to go. Or instead of silk touch, because we may not have quite the levels of it. Okay, I'm gonna go enchant this next pickaxe and see if we're lucky. Let's see, that's 17. That's 11. That's 12. 11. 15. 17. Dang it, 17. There we go. I guess that's a Unbreaking 2 and Efficiency 2. That kind of sucks. Oh well. So ruby dust we're going to need to get, but we can get a silk touch pickaxe quite easily by using the rock cutter. So the rock cutter is another GregTech item which requires diamond dust and titanium, and we all know how we can get titanium. I wonder why Way happened to make all of this bauxite. I guess we'll never know. So let's just go and throw this into the industrial electrolyzer. And we are going to need a few tin cells, and thankfully at least we can extract some of this. Now hydrogen is another, it looks like it's a solid fuel, though if we check the hydrogen, we can make deuterium, which will be useful in the future, or we can make methane, or we can burn it, but that'll be a chemical reactor, which we don't want to necessarily do. This thing is down for the count right now. If we maybe repurpose this liquid transposer to take the other stuff from it, that may be all we need to do. So if I put a tank here, or if we just take out this thing and put it in another area, that should be good. Okay, let me get my stuff. We'll make a few tanks, just put all the hydrogen in a nice storage space so that we can use it for later, and then we should be good. Okay, I decided to make another liquid transposer instead. So we're just going to put our hydrogen into this area. We do have some more hydrogen cells. This will be a good reusage of all of our cells for further use. We can extract our compressed air as well. Now another thing that we can do with the industrial electrolyzer is instead, let's just get this first. We can make some industrial, well, some actual cells from it, electrolyzed water. That's what I was looking for. We can make electrolyzed water and advancify our extractor. That may help us, not in the future, but pretty much now. So if we go and grab all the stuff that will be required to make that, such as coal, dust, etc., we should be good. So that will require 16 coal dust, and then a bit of compression. 4 compressions, 1,000, 2 1,000. I think I made that joke before. So throw this into here. We'll then start working on our continuous usage machine. And do we have anything in here? I suppose we could do that. However, that doesn't seem as much fun. We got our cells though. So how many are we going to need? We're going to need 7 electrolyzed water cells. 2, 3, 4, 7. And we only have 7, so that's good. So if we throw them into our industrial electrolyzer, like so, it'll work on electrolyzing all of that. So then we'll just take our carbon plates. I must have already taken them, and yes, I did. We'll take our carbon plates as well as our nice refined iron. Here we go. And also our other parts, desirables, etc., like so. Then we'll take this and here, that'll be good. We then need to go and grab our electrolyzer. There we go, didn't actually lose it for once. Har har. And then we will also need to, unfortunately, break this tank temporarily so as we can put a lever in instead. So we'll need to work our way back down to the area downstairs so that we can reactivate the tank once we destroy it. So that will just require a bit of skullduggery you know what? It might be better to just shut up and craft, you know? Yes. Okay, so break. Temporary access denied. And that'll just require a lever. We'll redstone current it. Then we'll need to break in. There we go. That wasn't too difficult. There must be an easier way to do things. But oh well, 255 buckets? Dang, actually 256 if we round up, which we should in this case. So 7 electrolyzed water cells. Let's put our cells in here and then put this back in, and we'll start working on that. And now with the electrolyzed water cells, we made our centrifuge extractor. Now in the past this was actually a lot harder to make. It required quite a bit of work because we needed to use a regular electrolyzer. The regular electrolyzer, if those people who have played the Feed the Beast Insanity map may know, or if you were ever unfortunate enough needing to craft one of these centrifuges, it's really annoying. It has to be hooked up to an energy cell state thing. I don't even know what the best way to describe that is. Storage cell, that works. That works a bit better than my rumblings anyways, so it's a lot easier this way. It's a lot easier. It takes too long the other method. That's why it's industrial, or rather centrifuge or something, I don't know. So advanced electric jetpack seems like it might be fun to make, though it seems a little advanced. Not as advanced as you would think. You know, I haven't actually made a jetpack now that I think of it. I should have been making that. Anyway, so this is one of the other constant running machines. Just as a singularity compressor, it will go, instead of going to 75,000 psi, it'll go to 7,500 meters per second. Why is it in meters per second instead of revolutions per second or RPM, stuff like that? Because am I to assume that it's Sir blockiness in there just going one okay. Let's just say divide it by pi and then you'll have the revolutions per second. So, now that we got this going, we can throw in a few more cells, then we'll have a bit more titanium. We'll need one more set of titanium, unfortunately, which will require a few more compressions, and this is where our cell reuse really comes into play, just taking all of this fun hydrogen fuel, and I'm thinking we will want to make some sort of either a hydrogen gas tank, a huge one, or we can make a methane one. I'm sure we will need to use that stuff in the near future. So let's once again compressed air. As you can see, it's a lot faster than it was before. Please don't blow up on me. And then we have our 8 other cells to throw into here to be generally awesome. So I'll wait for this industrial electrolyzer to go one more go, then we'll pretty much be out of energy until we have some more diesel going and getting generated. Then I'll be right back. Okay, so we got some titanium. We can then further process this. We might not have enough. Yes, we do. We definitely have enough EU to make the titanium. Now, after we do that, we'll then further take some of our nice, lovely cells, and we will want to make some more titanium in the future, though we can certainly wait before doing that. So, I was looking at some of the stuff that we can do to get the rubies, or rather process the ruby ore, and the best use that I can see is by using the industrial grinder. We get 2.5 ruby dust per ruby ore, and it's easy enough to recycle the water cells. It'll just require some water, and we also get some red garnet dust. Red garnet dust we can make to get, well, red garnet dust, though it doesn't look like, other than some other parts in the, I don't think it's too useful, though we will have to look at each and every single usage. Maybe we can develop some sort of machine in the future that will process every single dust that we can get and put them into more useful forms. Some of this stuff I don't think it's too likely that I'll do. Pyrope dust. Magnesium. I thought it would have been something a bit more useful. Anyway, so an industrial grinder, if you look, it's going to require quite a bit, not the industrial centrifuge, but the industrial grinder. As you can see, it requires a pump, an industrial electrolyzer, some more advanced circuits, and some diamond gears. The diamond gears aren't too difficult to make. It's just a little costly in resources, so we'll just have to find our diamonds. We have more sapphires and rubies. How does that happen? I think our diamonds are still upstairs, unless somehow, no, wait, I didn't actually get any diamonds, though I did gather up a bit of gold. So if we just quickly take this and convert them, wait, we are going to need to use our minium stone in the other process. We're going to need to make 3 of these into diamond, then we'll have to convert this further into diamond dust, which is kind of not my favorite way to do diamonds, but oh well. Let's see. No, I'm not saying yes. I'm saying C. C, as in I see. As in I have no idea why I'm trying to explain that, because it's just going so poorly. So, just throw this into the pulverizer before I lose my nerve. And we're also going to make other parts that will be required for the rock cutter. So the rock cutter is going to be my first actual tool that I'm making that uses just energy. We do have enough stuff to make everything. I do believe we'll need some electrum. Do we have any processed electrum? We should. Yes, we do. Great! I am Tony, and I have no imagination. Yes, and let's just make the dang circuit, shall we? So we got that. We'll need to have some tin so we can complete the job. But other than that, we're one tin short. Aha! I know there's tin up there, but I cannot be bothered. So let's just quickly make this tin block, and we'll definitely want a packager probably for some processing at a later date. So RE battery, check. Electronic circuit, check. Titanium ingots, check. And all that we need to check is whether our diamonds are thoroughly pulverized, which should be a check. There we go. Just finished processing, in fact. Okay. Why do I have a ladder if I don't even bother using it on the way down? Makes no sense otherwise. Okay, so diamond dust we can throw together like so. And then we have a rock cutter. So rock cutter should have silk touch. Huh? Oh, it must only be when it's powered. Derp. Let's power it. And it should be when we pull it out have silk touch on it. There we go. So now that it's powered, it has silk touch. At least it's not touched. And when it goes out of power, it will no longer have silk touch. So demonstrate using a bit of power. It used 500 EU for 1 bit of silk touch. So not too bad, not the best. Though obviously, if you were going for the best, you might as well do other things. So for this, we're going to need to have a lap pack, maybe advanced lap pack. That'll require a Laptron 6 thing, but we need to have a bat pack first, which requires even more stuff. And what was the other part? It's going to require an advanced circuit, I do assume. So let's gather our tin. Do we have enough redstone to even bother trying to make that? Redstone, where are you? I don't think so. Actually, we do. The 12 redstone should be enough, even since we don't need to use it for electronic circuits, though it does show that we are freaking low on redstone. So first we need to make the regular pack, which is going to require our tin supply. And let's do this instead. Actually, I want it sorted like this. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. I'm doing it again. I should never have found this sword. It's just too awesome. So, let's make our dang thing. So, how many batteries are we going to need? Let's see. Lap pack requires a bat pack, which requires 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that we have our 6, it's going to also require a circuit. And what else? Is that a piece of silver? No, it's another piece of tin. Tin crazy. Now I could go with this, just this. However, I do want to go a bit further. That is why I'm going to continue. Now we need to have 6 pieces of lapis, so that is going to be 54. There we go. So 54 pieces of lapis lazuli. Just throw these in the compressor, make our nice fancy compressed blocks. Another lapis ore. I'm guessing someone just added lapis everywhere. So that's our efficiency is definitely going to help with that because it'll be a lot faster. Anyway, so we got our lapis and we are going to need to convert it. So to convert it, we will need to get an advanced circuit. That'll require a regular circuit. That'll require a bit of some je ne sais pas, oui? No. I'll get the tree tap and then gather some more rubber, then we'll be off. Or I can just use some of the rubber that I had laying around because I am just lazy like that. So let's quickly make that. Here we go, some copper cables. We'll also need to gather some more electrum, actually 6 pieces of electrum. That'll require a bit more than what we have. Let's see, how much of this gold do I want to turn into electrum? 13, I suppose, will be a good number. We'll keep the rest of the silver in there. And the only time I don't use the sword and go down the ladder, I manage to hurt myself because I'm that dangerous of a person. Okay, apparently I had just enough space in there. And we got a lot of nickel and also some more hydrogen cells. Hydrogen we can throw over back into the extractor here. Now that would be fun to make a fully automatic processor to get as much titanium as possible by throwing the hydrogen into a liquid transposer and the cells into just, well, get all that stuff out, yo. But I'll work on that when I'm closer to the automation stage that'll require that. So, electronic circuits will need to convert some of these, preach to the converted and all that, and obviously we need to switch some stuff up because it doesn't like us. Two of them or one of them? Meh. It's not like it matters too much, and we'll just grab one of them for now since that's all we need. Lap this up, and then backpack it. Okay, so we got a lap pack, and this is 300,000 EU. That will be the amount that's in this MFE, and thankfully it does charge it. We will want to go for the advanced lap pack at a later date. That'll just require a Laptronic crystal, which will require two bloody murder. I should have just went for one set, dang it. Oh well, I can just make that later. And there's also the Lapotron pack, which it seems like a more advanced version. Just using, oh my god, yeah, let's not go with that, shall we? Fully powered lap pack, heyo, corp. So, now that we have this, it'll be a bit easier to go out to gather a bit more ruby and get the ruby dust that will be from it. Now, obviously, we will need a bit more infrastructure before we can fully implement that idealism, though it should be an easy enough thing to do. We will need to get a bit better energy-wise also if we are going to have that constantly in use, and we might be able to if we find an area, implement it into our processing line. Because frankly, why not? Now, hopefully I don't just go all diesel. I'm really hoping I can get some more better stuff than that, but that's something I might be able to experiment with. Let's actually get a wrath furnace going. That'll require, I think, 36 gold. Do we have 36 gold? Please say we have 38. Okay, that works too. So let's throw our remaining gold. We have a lot of iron. We can probably refine 2 batches of this in our powered furnace, and then we should be good. It'll go into the other one since it's not the raw refinement, but oh well. So, minium stone, we'll need to get 9 diamonds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, derp. Derp, it's 4, not... I am going completely bonkers. So, we got our 9 diamonds, and we're going to need to compress this into a diamond block and get some other parts that will make this a bit better. So, compressor here, throw that in, and get a diamond block, which hopefully we do not lose because it is one little annoyance to create. So, we're also going to need to grab some obsidian. Obsidian, which we'll just require here. There we go. 4 is what we'll go for. So 4 of this, and also some TNT to go off with a bang. So we'll need a total of 20 gunpowder and some sand over here, and then we'll have what we need. So just an outlier, gunpowder, and TNT. I guess I can do the remainder over here because it is in the crafting grid. So I think it is TNT at the corners, obsidian at the edges, and we have a craft packet with all that stuff. So we need to get a craft packet stamper to finish this part. and that'll require a piston. Do we have a piston at all? No, we do not. We'll need to make another piston, and it will require a crafting table, which we happened to have in there for some odd reason, which I have no idea about. So, piston will require a bit more of our redstone than I think we might not be able to, let's just make it. So, also a bit of wood and a bit of iron. So, let's make 3 of these. And then we'll use 1 of these in our further processing, like so. We'll just get our crafting table. We'll get a bit of stone jacket with an iron in between. An iron in between. That would be a sight. And then we just put our stamper somewhere in the script and boom. We get diamond shards. So these diamond shards are used a lot in factorization. So if you just look at the uses, it's not too much. It's used in one of the processes, which is the ore doubling, or in fact tripling of factorization. Also used for angular saws, which I'm not too sure or pleasant on the use of. Apparently it's not used yet, so I won't have to worry. And we also have a wrath igniter, which needs to get nether bricks. Now nether bricks are a little bit of a pain to create. We need to get quite a bit of netherrack as well as some soul sand. So if we go soul searching a bit, you can find we have a bit of this, though we do need a bit more netherrack for other parts of our design. So let's at least throw you guys in to get 10 pieces of netherrack, though we will need to go out and get a bit more. In fact, let's just do that quickly. Okay, so we got some nice nether brick, and we can start setting this up. Now, I do also have some nether iron ore, which I collected and immediately regretted because pigmen don't like me. Anyway, so we got some nether brick. I'm thinking maybe we can set up a furnace. Where are we gonna put this? Maybe outside? Or maybe up there, someplace that won't necessarily catch on fire right away. The layout doesn't exactly accept any sort of stuff like that. So maybe I can, yeah, actually, let's put it inside this wall. We can move it in the future, though we don't need to worry about it necessarily right away. So let's quickly make this place a bit more hollow. And now that that's done, we can put our nether brick framework. Now this is going to be something called a wrath furnace. A wrath furnace is not technically any sort of multi-block structure, but the mechanics is this. When you have something called wrath fire, which is made by a wrath igniter, kind of like a flint and steel, but a bit more powerful. I'm just going to put that away. It basically is a strong fire. You can put it on stone and it'll basically consume anything that you place it on, and only that item that you initially put it on. There must be some sort of data in it. Anyways, it doesn't consume netherrack, the netherrack brick, and since it can continually be burned while in it, it is useful for other things. Now, the main thing it's useful in is something called, it's called dark iron. And how you make dark iron is by taking an iron block, which I'll do shortly, and by placing it right in front of the wrath fire, it'll work on it so as we can get dark iron from it. So let's place down the iron block, and then it'll change like so. And then we take it, and then it will be in our possession, and then we can uncraft it and use it in a bunch of recipes. So dark iron, if you can see, it's used in some factorization stuff such as routers, bags of holding, and other fancy stuff. Will be basically using it in the future mainly for routers to get a better sorting system. Now, I will improve on this because, frankly, it's a little sucky because it might go into the fire and disappear like that. So I'll put a block breaker and deployer later on so that it'll be more useful, or just move it entirely and put it in another place. I'm going to put this here in the meantime so I don't destroy the mountain, which would suck. Well, that's all the time we have for this episode of EEPower. If you like what you see, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe to future episodes. How is this flint just getting flung here? WayofTime here, signing off. Have a wonderful day.